Who's ruling Britain? Sadiq Khan in denial when political protection replaced child protection. Britain has repeatedly promised that institutional failures surrounding child sexual exploitation would never happen again. Yet every new inquiry raises the same question. Did leadership recognise the warning signs soon enough? What if the greatest danger was not simply organised offenders? What if it was the reluctance of leadership to acknowledge that organised exploitation could exist at all? This episode examines the criticism directed at Sadiq Khan following his previous public statements regarding organised grooming gangs in London. It explores the argument that political reassurance, when overtaken by a formal inquiry, can undermine public confidence and delay institutional accountability. Every safeguarding system depends upon one principle. Recognition must come before protection. When leaders publicly conclude that a particular pattern is absent, the burden quietly shifts onto victims to prove otherwise. And that is why the recent confrontation between Susan Hall and Sadiq Khan resonated so far beyond London's Assembly chamber.
And I will continue, Mr. Mayor, until something happens about this. You've made previous assertions that London does not have the same type of grooming gangs as seen in Bradford, Manchester, Leeds, Sheffield, Newcastle, Middlesbrough, Blackpool, Keighley, Halifax, Huddersfield, Blackburn, Barrow, Nelson, Birmingham, Nottingham, Coventry, Leicester, Derby, Aylesbury, Ipswich, Chelmsford, High Wycombe, Peterborough, Barking, Bristol, Banbury, everywhere but in London. Are you sure that we do not have the same gangs like the rest of the country?
Joe, that's not quite what I've said. What I've said is echoing the words of the Commissioner now and the Assistant Commissioner, I think Matt Twist, on previous occasions. They've both explained that there are serious issues in relation to child sexual exploitation. They've both explained that there are a variety of examples of children being exploited, including grooming, and they're both
just under a year ago had, when you said, what does the member mean? What is she talking about? You knew damn well what I was talking about because it's been going on for years. You're the mayor of this great city. It's going on in London, and every day that goes by where we haven't got an inquiry in place, these girls and sometimes boys are suffering. And yet, if they look at your comments on it, you don't take it seriously enough. There should have been an inquiry put in place a long, long time ago. And you can look fed up with me asking if you like, but you better get used to it, because I will not stop until we've got an inquiry in place and these past cases are looked at and resolved and these girls get some form of closure. Specifically on grooming gangs. You know full well we're on the clock, Mr. Mayor. You know full well you just run it down, which is despicable since you just never want to come and answer questions properly. I'll leave it there because of my time. Thank you, Chair.
How can you sit there with a straight face and say crime is down? Since you became mayor in 2016, knife crime has gone up by 27%. Violence against the person has increased by 26%. Robbery has increased by 57%. Theft has increased by 37%. Shoplifting has increased by 109%. Sexual offences have increased by 64%. All crime since you, Sadiq Khan, became mayor of London have increased by 26%. Don't Londoners deserve the truth about the state of crime in the capital from you? Talk about the truth. What you're doing now is what you did at the beginning. You spoke about random date ranges that fit your narrative. That's not how crime statistics work. And if you don't like what I've read out, then speak to the commissioner next to you and ask him if his officers are reporting the truth.
I'm disappointed in one of you, but I'm completely appalled by the other. So, Mayor Khan, in January, I asked if we had grooming gangs in London. You dismissed my question by saying you didn't know what I meant. What does she mean, Chair? What is she talking about? I have to tell you, the rape victims knew exactly what I was talking about, and actually so did most other people. So would you like to apologise to all those victims of the rape gangs that actually saw you dismiss this?
Chair, I'd like to begin these topics by always thinking about the victims and survivors who have been treated appallingly over many, many years, particularly in the northern towns. And what they want is two things. One is support, and it's very important we give them support. And I'll set out shortly some of the support we've given to victims of violence and sexual exploitation.
An apology to those rape victims that have since phoned me. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have contacted me. Would you just like to apologise to them for pretending you didn't know what these rape gangs were?
It is really important. We're talking about an incredibly serious and emotive issue to actually clarify what is meant when it comes to grooming gangs, or in the words of the member, rape gangs. According to the national...
Doing yourself any favours here, Mayor Khan. Everybody knows what I was talking about, except you, it would appear. And since you're the Police and Crime Commission, that's very embarrassing for you. I didn't stop asking questions. I asked your Deputy Mayor and never, ever got an answer, of course.
I'm determined that
Britain's already learned painful lessons from Rotterdam, Rochdale, Telford and other inquiries. Those investigations reveal that institutional confidence can coexist with institutional failure. Now London has become one of the first jurisdictions selected for the dedicated local investigation into group-based child sexual exploitation, while thousands of metropolitan police cases are being reviewed. For critics, the development fundamentally changes the significance of earlier public assurances. The issue is no longer simply whether those statements reflected the advice available at the time. The issue is whether public leadership exercised sufficient caution in an area where consequences of being wrong fall upon children rather than politicians. What I've asked here is whether institutional confidence becomes stronger than institutional curiosity. Because when safeguarding systems stop asking difficult questions, such in the case of Sadiq Khan, because he is just being willfully blind, vulnerable children bear the consequences long before official reviews. Viewers, the more we are given transparency into the decisions and lives of the politicians right across the Commonwealth, Australia, Britain, etc., the more we're seeing that these people are just running their ideology rather than their duty, ideology above duty. They're doing what they believe will move forward or promote their ideology, and it's totally irrelevant to what we need as the people that they're supposedly serving.